we started conceptualizing with what Breck liked and what he didn't like. We literally started with, here's a bunch of research, here's a lot of the real diseases. In the script, it definitely references rabies in terms of the similarities and some of the diseases and how they affect the body. Rabies was in there, but then we didn't want to go too rabies-y because that was a lot of the stuff that we did in quarantine. So there was an interesting idea that the writers had in there about sort of a tetanus sort of look, and this sort of, the body's arcing off the ground, and the really tautness of the neck and the muscles and things. And so we thought it would be kind of a neat running theme if we had their necks always be taut and always have the tendons coming up into the face and becoming these blood blisters and becoming all, the idea was basically to take it from the opposite of death and to make it too much life. Because if they're infected with Trixie and they're infected with this virus and it's surging through their veins and it's popping here and there, it's gonna wanna come out. It wants to come out the eyes, it wants to come out the ears, it wants to create these pockets, and that's essentially was the main theme, is that it was trying to sort of come out of the skin. And in that, I think we created something pretty unique. And the basis for it was a lot of real diseases. Because of the nature of the movie and because of how the infection spreads so fast, you're talking about a disease that actually starts and then within 48 hours someone's dead. So the stages, there's a very rapid succession. And so with that, what we wanted to do was make sure that the makeup, all the appliances that we put on were very mobile, and we could, for lack of a better word, mix and match them. So we created a lot of custom pieces for the people, all the infected crazies, but we also kept everything very fluid. So we would have hundreds and hundreds of tiny little pieces that we make out of this it's basically transferred on with tattoo paper. It's adhesive. So it's these little sculpted adhesive pieces. And what was helpful about that was, Breck could look at a makeup and say, oh, we're a little bit further along than we were last time. Can we add another cool vein here? And then within 5 minutes you can add it. You just put it on a little water, pull it off, a little bit of paint, and you're done. And so by keeping it very fluid like that, allowed myself and the rest of the artists that were out from Almost Human to be able to be very fluid with the makeups and mix and match and add as we go. I like working with actors, and I like helping create this character from the ground up, from nothing, from essentially a bucket of rubber. You're creating a character, and it's a fun thing. So yeah, I love doing that. You literally get in there, and sometimes it's as simple as you know what, you can't turn your head quite so far this way because we're having an issue, and it'll wrinkle weird, but it saves. Because even that weird wrinkle at the end of the day could take the viewer out of the movie, and that's a bad thing. So yeah, I feel it's my responsibility to jump in there and open my big mouth. The most important aspect of it was just to come up with something that that hasn't been done to death. It was a strange balance because they had to be realistic. If we were to pitch something to Breck about, what about one side of his face should look like this, Breck would immediately want to know where we found that and what disease it was from and how could it be implemented into our version of reality, into Trixie. And it's a smart way to go. You can't just say, I want one side of the face to look like this because it'll be cool. We literally had to say, this is where it comes from, and it kind of works with the airborne quality and blah 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 blah. So as long as we had sort of that medical backup to point out where it came from, we had a lot of carte blanche in that respect. But the most important thing was to make sure it felt real, felt like someone could get that, and that you might get it too, which is important. And it also was very important to not make them feel like zombies. And again, I hate to overuse iconography, but it definitely it was important that these things be unique to the film. I mean, that was very important to Breck. That was his biggest mandate.